Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'd like to do is kind of go over some basic ideas and processes of what you need to know to be able to solve a system of equations by substitution. So when looking at a system of equations, I think the first important thing, sorry, I got to pick up my thing. When solving a system of equations by substitution, we want to at least understand what exactly is a system. And again, by using substitution, for this course, we're going to be doing a linear system with only two equations. So therefore, our solution is going to have the solution for two different variables. And that kind of goes back into our next point, which is going to be solutions, understanding what is the solutions. When we solve by system equations, when we get our solution, either being one, infinite many, or no solutions, we need to be able to understand, graphically, what does that represent? Because a lot of times we're also going to want to identify our solutions as consistent, inconsistent, or identify our system as consistent, inconsistent, as well as independent and dependent. So it's important to kind of understand not only what our solutions are looking like, but also in the graph, how does that kind of relate? The next thing is solving for a variable. So when we're doing solving by substitution, a lot of times our variables that we're going to be substituting into the other equation is going to be isolated, but sometimes it won't be. Or at least we're going to have to do some kind of operations to it to get it exactly isolated. So we want to make sure we can solve for a variable. And pretty much what that means is like solving a literal equation. Isolating one of our variables, either x, y, a, b, m, and whatever variables we have for our system. The next thing is knowing how to evaluate. And basically, what that's saying is, so for instance, let's say I have 3x minus y equals 15. What I was saying, solving for a variable, let's say you want to solve for y, right? So there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could just add y to the other side. 3x is equal to 15 plus y. Then to get y by itself, I'd subtract 15. So I have 3x minus 15 equals y. All right? So isolate your variable. Then we want to evaluate, right? Or at least the idea of substituting one equation in for that variable. But let's say we do that and we get y equals 3. And then our last equation is 3x. Well, let's do 7x minus 2y equals 8. So evaluating says, once I know what y is, right, I can take that value of y and plug it into my equation. 7x minus 2y is equal to 8. Take that value of y and plug it into the other equation. And we also do that, do that with even the equation. We even evaluate for equations and plug them in so we can solve for y. Lastly is knowing how to solve an equation. Once I plug y in for there, I have 7x minus 2 times 3 equals 8. 7x minus 6 equals 8. Well, now go ahead and solve the equation, right? Use your inverse operations. Add 6 on both sides, divide by 7 on both sides, right? So basically, to solve a system of equations, we need to kind of understand the system, understand the solutions, and then know how to solve for our variable, know how to evaluate, either evaluate for a variable for an expression like this, plug that into the equation, or when we get it to a value, plug that value into your y, and then learn how to solve for your other variable. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty much everything you need to know to be able to solve using substitution. Thanks.